Hey, what's up everybody? Life Without Pants here with another Path of Exile video, and in today's video we're going to talk about leveling your second character. The first time you go through the campaign could be pretty slow, especially if it's League launch, and the second time can be so much easier. You have access to a bunch of uniques and twink items that can really improve and smooth out the leveling process going through the campaign the second time. So let's take a look. So here is the jewel that we're going to be using. It's called One With Nothing. It is a small cluster jewel and it adds a very important skill to the tree called Hollow Palm Technique. And if we just go ahead and add it into our tree right now, I have a ranger here, level 12, I believe, and we can just put this in. We made a beeline straight for the first jewel socket we have access to, and we can just add this notable here, Hollow Palm Technique, where you count as dual wielding whilst you're unencumbered, and you do 40% more attack damage and with melee skills whilst you're unencumbered. Now, what does unencumbered means? It means that you don't have a main hand weapon, you don't have an offhand like a shield or a quiver or anything, and you don't have any gloves either. So those three items are completely out for the entirety of the leveling experience. And whilst you're unencumbered, it adds 14 to 20 attack physical damage to melee skills per 10 dexterity. Now you can see on this tree, I mean it's a ranger, so we start off in the dex area, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a lot of dexterity around here, and once we do this, we will have a bunch of flat physical damage to our attack skills, which is really huge for leveling. It makes a huge difference. The bosses just melt. It's absolutely brilliant. And we're going to take a look at the other uniques we'll be using to assist. So obviously you'll be able to see here we've got a tabula rasa. We've got our gold rim as well, and I went for the 40% all res version because it's just free all res. And we're going with a 7 league step. So we've got 50% increased move speed. These are really good. And for the belt, we've gone with a string of servitude with 18% increased dexterity. Now you can see here, I've got 120 dexterity at level 12, and then when we take the belt off, we lose 18. So even at a very early stage, you still get a ton of extra dexterity from the belt. It's very much worth it in my opinion. And you can get them with 18% increased dexterity and perhaps percent increased life. The string of servitude, it drops at the apex of the Temple of Atsuatl, and it has two implicits, and the implicit modifier values are tripled. Some of the other items we've got here, we've got a couple of L'Up of All, the fantastic ring. This you have to be level 24 to use, so we can't use it just yet, but it's in the wings waiting for us to put on. You can roll these with I believe it's in between 10 and 30 on the all attributes and on the all res. If you get a couple which have got 25 all attributes and 25 all res, then that's 50 all res and 50 flat dex. It's quite good, and you also get the 1 to 4 physical damage because it's an iron ring base. These are absolutely brilliant for the leveling experience and will make it super smooth. For our amulet, we've gone with an Astramentis. This obviously is not even well divined. I just bought this one. It was the cheapest one on the trade website, and you could divine this if you wanted a little bit extra flat dex, and you could also use a blessed orb. You could use some catalysts as well. I think it's intrinsic catalysts, and that would massively up the amount of dexterity this amulet gives you too. We've anointed ours with Alacrity, which is a 30% dex node. I believe it's this one over here, and this is the cheapest anoint in the game. It's just 3 clear oils, and so that means you're going to get an extra 30 dex as soon as you put this on around level 20. Usually that's for us, that's just before we get to the docks. It's somewhere in Act 3, maybe in the Val Temple if we're really lucky, but generally it's this amulet makes a huge difference because you're adding an extra 100 dexterity to the build. We've got a couple of jewels here as well. There's just flat dex on both of them, and one of them's got 6% increased max life. I think these are about 1 chaos each. The Astramentis I think was about 5 chaos, and the L'Up of All were around 5 chaos as well. They're very cheap items to get. So let's talk about the skill we're going to be using, and this is just my personal preference. There's a few things that make this skill useful to me and my playstyle. We're going to be using Smite during the leveling process. There are many melee skills you can use with One With Nothing. Lots of them are very good. I've had a lot of fun with a Consecrated Path as well in the past, and it has a short teleport as well on Consecrated Path, so it can help you get through the campaign even quicker. For me, Smite is just great. It's got a lot of tags on it as well: lightning attack, AoE, duration, melee, strike, and aura. So there's a lot of interaction we can choose with other support gems. Even at level 12, you can start off with Smite and Ancestral Call support. Ancestral Call is going to reduce the total amount of damage, but it's going to target a couple of nearby enemies as well. So it's great for clearing your way through the campaign very rapidly. Then we're going to go with Elemental Damage with attack support and Melee Fizz damage support. These are also really useful. We've also gone for Fizz to Lightning and finally Multi-Strike. And Multi-Strike you don't get until the end of, I believe, Act 8. And is a great gem, but you're going to wait for your 6th link. So this is the quick setup. For Ranger, it's especially easy, especially Shadow as well. For Duelist, it's also again pretty easy because there's a lot of dex nodes on the way to the first jewel socket, or the cluster jewel socket. For the other classes, it's a little bit more difficult. There's still 13 nodes in between all of the class starting positions and the jewel socket. But there's not as much flat dex on the way. Now, there are a few things you can do about this. Obviously, if you're over in the Witch area, there's Alacrity just as a node you can take for 1 point. And on the other side, you can take Agility as well. There are these jewel sockets as well, the basic jewel sockets. There are a few unique jewels you can throw in there. So in the Templar area, if you're pathing down this way over to the jewel socket here, if you're going down this way to the jewel socket over here, then there's a lot of strength here, obviously, but there's a expertise node here. And then this basic jewel socket, you can throw in a fluid motion and it converts, there's a few unique gems that convert one stat into another stat and give you a bunch of base of that new stat as well. So the fluid motion gives you 16 to 24 dexterity and converts all the strength in the capture zone into dexterity as well. And it captures these kinds of nodes as well. So those are also quite useful. It depends on how you want to level the build, but the gear, honestly, an Astromentis and these rings, and a couple of these, and a belt like this will carry you damage-wise pretty much through the whole campaign. If you can get down here to the % increased dexterity nodes, then these are huge and you will perhaps never die, because everything will die before it can hit you. Obviously there's some life wheels which are really great to take. They increase your tankiness. And down here, because you are dual wielding, even whilst you're unarmed, you're dual wielding these. There are some ambidexterity nodes and dual wield attack damage and attack speed nodes, which are really great. There's dexterity nodes nearby, which are fantastic. And then there's these leech nodes around here as well. So attack damage leached as life and as mana, really strong. It means that all you need to do to stay alive is keep hitting stuff, and it's very easy for this build. And I should mention, I have a path of building for every class in the game to rush a jewel socket and get some good nodes on the tree. So check it out just down in the description below. You don't need lots and lots of nodes on the tree with these items. A few will do, but obviously the more the better. And if you have a lot of regrets, then it's very easy. Okay, so let's take a look at what it looks like with just the first couple of skills in. I'm gonna go and we're gonna go see if we can go kill Merveil. Okay, so here we are. Let's see what the damage is like. I think we managed to level up to level 3 Smite whilst we were just in the Caverns of Anger. And yeah, the damage is pretty decent for a level 3 gem with a 2 link. Normally when I'm leveling my second or third or fourth character, I'll just have the smite in a offhand weapon socket or something, so it'll be leveling my offhand as I go through the campaign up to this point. You don't get many levels because it's quite a low level gem, and you don't have much strength as well. It is a strength gem, and yeah, if you're leveling a ranger then you don't have a lot of strength, but it does certainly make this quite a lot easier, like that. And it only gets easier as you go through the rest of the campaign. So with that, thanks very much for watching. I hope you have an excellent second character, or third character, or fourth character like me. I'm on my, I think, fourth now, and really enjoying the league. Let me know in the comments down below what kind of build you're playing, and if this has helped you, give it a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks very much.